Hello guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Pablo. I'm a videographer and a personal trainer. In today's video, I'm gonna show you the cameras that I own and how do I utilize on my workflow. As you can see here, there's 4 different cameras. This one right here is a Sony FX30. This one is a Sony CVE10 Mark II. This is the Osmo Pocket 3. And this one is an iPhone 14. I also have an iPhone 16 Pro, which is the one that I'm recording with right now. In today's video, I'm gonna show you what is the best option for me between these 4 cameras to create content at the gym. Let's start with this one. This one is the Sony FX30. And what I like about this camera is this whole thing. I really love this camera. Like, I cannot recommend this camera enough. I feel like if you wanted to get into professional work and you are trying to figure out exactly if this is something that you want to do for the rest of your life, this camera is the best option for you. And here's a couple things why I think this. To start off, the price. This camera I think is right now at $1,900 or something like that. Just the body though, take that into consideration, just that little piece right here. Something I like about this camera, it have dual memory card slots in here, which is super convenient. Also, it has a fan, so this camera would never heat up. It always maintain a cool temperature. It have a bunch of buttons that you can customize depending how's your workflow. Overall, this camera I would say is a perfect option for someone who wanted to start doing professional work. A lot of people said why you didn't get the FX3, and the reason is simple. First, the image that this camera produces legit, is really good image. Yes, some people will say low light is not the best, and I agree with that. But again, you can get lenses that go all the way to 1.2, or even this one. You can literally record during the night with no problem because it opens up a lot. So I think that's the solution for it. But again, back to the reasons. The reason was the money. At that point, when I wanted to invest money into videography, I didn't have that much money, to be honest. And the Sony FX3 is 2 times the price of this one. So that was a big kind of like, all right, I'm going with the Sony FX30. Second of all, the full frame lenses are they will be always way more expensive. And the variety of lenses is not as big as APS-C or Super 35 sensor lenses, which is this camera, right? So those are the biggest reasons why I decided to go with this one. I'm super happy about this camera, but again, this is not my go-to when I go to the gym. This one is a CVE10 Mark II. I recently purchased this camera because I need a camera to fuck around, to create content, to take pictures, to create small video. And honestly, at the beginning, I wasn't super sure about spending money on this specific camera, but after I saw a bunch of reviews, I decided to pull the trigger. Don't get fooled about the size of this camera. Like if you compare this one versus this one side by side, this one looked like a joke, honestly. Like it's so small, but it's super powerful because these both cameras have exactly the same sensor. So the image that this camera produces is, I would say, as good as this one. Of course, that with this, you missing out a couple like key pieces, like stabilization is a good part of it. Like you don't have that capability with this camera. But again, like if you have a gimbal or if you use a really wide lens, you can kind of like get away from it. I believe this is around $999, just the body. The reason why I just got the body was because I'm already have like enough glass for Sony Super 35, which is these 2 sensors. So I didn't have to get the kit lens. I heard the kit lens is not the best, but is a good to start. So if you're thinking on getting this camera, highly recommend. I forget to say, like, the audio that this camera produces is really good. And if you pair it with a lens like this one, this is a 9mm, which means like you just have to keep the camera this close for real. The audio is super clean. Of course, it will all depend on the lens. We're gonna talk about lenses later on the video, but highly recommend this camera. This one is the Osmo Pocket 3. Super fun camera. I just bought this one because I felt like using a gimbal was something cool to use on a daily basis because it's super stable. It gives you that look of like cinematic look on your footage, and it is super, you know, it's small, it's packed. That's why they call pocket, right? Because you technically can put it on your pocket all the time. This little camera right here can record in 4K at 120, which is super crazy because this is exactly what this camera does. This one, I believe, doesn't record 120 and 4K, but it does 60 frames per second at 4K, which is what I usually use for slow-mo. 120 is a little bit too slow for me. But cool things about this camera is like you can use D-Log, D-Log, which is something that is super convenient when you want to use like different camera system, and then you want to kind of like pair the image or the colors. Like that's when the lock mode on cameras like get super convenient, and you can, you know, add up memory. So this little camera with a combo creator, which brings the mic, the DJI mic, is super convenient. Like I would recommend this camera for most of people who just wanted to vlog, right? And lastly, iPhone. Here in the United States, a lot of people have iPhones, and they always say the best camera is a camera you already have. And I feel like that is bullshit, and here's why. I'm not saying that you cannot use your iPhone camera. I think it is super convenient. In fact, I'm using it right now. But what I'm trying to say with this is, at least on my end, whenever I get into the creative mode, whenever I have to record myself, get some professional work, kind of like being creative, I love to have something that allow me to get into that specific rhythm and to that specific vibe. And if I'm using my phone and I'm recording and someone texts me or have an email or something like that, it just feels wrong on my end. So that's why I feel like compare a camera with an iPhone that have a good camera, sometimes it feels wrong. I think that iPhone's cameras or any smartphone cameras are super convenient to, you know, like go around and get some B-roll, especially the iPhone 15, 16, and 17 that have that telephoto capabilities and also can record in D-Log is super convenient. But at the end of the day, I would rather use this camera than my iPhone. Of course, this one or this one. But it's a nice things to have. If you have one of those like last 3 versions of iPhone, of course, use it if you have it available. But you will see the difference in terms of like how you can be more creative when you usually use something dedicated to create content. So, because this video is all about deciding what is the best camera to create content at the gym. Of course, if you can see here is this one. I hope that was funny. This camera has been literally the go-to every single time I go to the gym. Even when I take all these things, fancy things off my camera and I just use the body and the glass, I always go with this one. Like, it's honestly perfect for content creation. It's light, is kind of cool looking. I got it in a white body. And what you also forget to say is like this camera produce image 10-bit. 10-bit color is really good when you try to do some color grading after. Same with this one. This is 10-bit and this is 10-bit as well, which is insane. So for content creation at the gym, the Sony EZ II Mark II is the winner, at least on my workflow. this is for professional work. I think this camera is super good for like bloggers or for people who is literally getting started. The only thing that I don't like about this camera is that the aperture is fixed on this camera and also on iPhone. So you cannot, well, I don't know about iPhones, but this one for sure. I think iPhones you can change something in Blackmagic app, but in the Osmo Pocket 3, the aperture is fixed, so you can't change stuff like that. There's a pro version on exposure where you can change the shutter speed and the ISO. And if you try to make a cinematic, you want to keep it on 24, but if it's super bright, so you might need some indie filter. So I might do another video related with this camera, how to use it like professionally, but highly recommend. So I would say, besides the camera, what I feel like is also super necessary is this. This is the DJI Mic Mini, and with this and a tripod, you're good to go, my friend. With this, you can create all the content on the world. Like, you can literally make a movie out of that. Well, I don't know about that, but you can literally create like a bunch of content, vertical, horizontal, like whatever you feel comfortable creating, this camera will do it for you. I do not have any affiliation with Sony yet. But I'm not gonna put links on the description because it's not like I'm gonna make money out of this. But this is something that you can go over internet and purchase. It's always on stock, it's super popular. And again, this is just an option. This is not the only way. There's other brands that have the entry camera for mirrorless, but I feel like Sony did pretty good job with this camera. And I just recommend it because I use it now every day and it's been super, super good. Especially if you pair this camera with the right glass, which we're gonna talk about next. All right, so here's the deal. Now I'm about to hit my session and I brought a couple lenses with me and I'm gonna show you real quick what is the difference between focal lenses to record your workouts or to create content specifically for fitness. So the one that you're seeing right now is a 9mm at 2.8, and if you can see, well, you can't see, but like the camera is really, really close to my face, but you can see everything around. So just to start off, I think this is one of the best options because A, you don't have to put the camera so far away from you that you kind of feel uncomfortable going back and forth to press record, unless you're using a remote app or something like that. Second of all, it's easy to frame because most likely everything in front of the camera will be on frame. And I would say third, it looked really cool. It looks almost like when you use a 0.5 camera on your iPhone, then it's super wide. So the only trade-off with this specific lens, which is the Viltrox, is that because it's at 2.8 f-stop, it's not the best on low light. And if your gym doesn't have any natural light, it can be a little tricky. This gym, I mean, it's not the best with natural light, but it definitely get the work done because if you can see here, there's literally a lamp right on top of me. So I'm gonna do a couple left with this 9mm. I'm using also my gimbal right here to, I guess, frame better. Then I'm gonna use the 35mm, which I feel is a little bit better, but we'll get into that in a little bit. All right, here's what we're gonna do now. So I'm gonna use this lens. This is autofocus 35mm at 1.7. It's a Viltrox. It's one of the Air series, and honestly, so far has been like a really, really good lens. It's super cheap. It's just like around $200. So you're gonna see a big difference in terms of like how the image looks compared with the one that you're seeing right now. So with this one, the only thing is I'm gonna have to use this setup. You don't have to have you don't have to use a gimbal, but like at least a tripod, because I might have to place my camera a little bit far behind because it's a 35 millimeter. So I think like that'll be the only, I guess, negative part of it, because sometimes you don't have that much space at the gym and you have to just like kind of like get a wide angle lens to being able to place a camera super close to you. I don't know if that makes sense, but so far that's what we tried to do up here. So let's see how it looks with this one. So what I like about this lens is that you can place the camera a little bit far away, but it gives you this nice view, what is behind me, what is in front of me. I framed this bench in front of it, so it kind of looked really cool. Now let's wait this guy passing. So what I like about this lens is how I frame this thing. So if you can see, this bench is out of focus. I'm on focus right now. And the background is a little bit out of focus as well. So, but you can still see the whole thing. That's because the lens goes all the way to 1.7. So what I'm gonna do is exactly the same for exercise. This is slightly heavier, so I hope my technique still the same, because I'm trying to actually work out while I'm recording this. So let's get right into it. I have to change a couple things on the fly. That wasn't a muscle snatch, that was a power snatch, and that wasn't a hand, that was a hand power. So here's two lenses, and this one is the one that I just used. This is a 35 mil, but this one, I feel like it's a little bit more convenient. So this one goes from 18 to 50 mil, and this one is the one that they call like zoom lenses, because you literally can zoom in, right? So it's technically not a zoom. What it does, I don't know if you can read these numbers here, is it goes from 18 to 50. And what it does is just change the focal length. This is a 24 mil, 28, 35, and 50 mil. So I would say like for content creation, if you don't want it to just change these lenses, they call it prime lenses, because you technically just have one focal length. You can crop in the image inside of the camera, but like you technically just stay with one focal length. So for me to change the view from the last clip using this lens to the one that you're seeing right now, which is a 9 mil, I have to literally take the lens and put this one on. But if you use these ones, you can just do this and do that. That's it. So it's slightly easier. I would say also the only trade-off with this one is that because this is 2.8, I believe. Let me see real quick. Yes, this is 2.8 aperture. So the only trade-off with this one is that because it's a zoom lens, the aperture is not that low, or it don't opens up that much. So it won't create that nice blurry background unless you are at 50 millimeter and you go all the way to 2.8. So that'll be kind of like the only trade-off with this one. But if you have money just to invest in one lens, this one from Sigma, 18 to 50, I'll say is the best bet for any camera, literally. All right, I'm gonna show you now this lens. This is a Viltrox Pro Series 75 mil at 1.2. This is a crazy lens. I'm gonna try to put this one on the camera. The only thing that I don't like about this lens to create content at the gym is that I have to place my camera so far away from me. So sometimes when you do the frame and you press record, because it's so far away from you, people will be just crossing your frame. And guys, if you're recording content at the gym and someone just cross over your camera, it's okay. Like, it doesn't matter, because actually they're here for a keto workout, and this is not like in a studio, so be okay with it. So many people get really mad and frustrated because people just cross their frame. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're literally at the gym, people is working out, so respect other people as well. All right, so let's try to put this one on, and you're gonna see the big difference between 9mm 35 and now we're gonna do 75. I have another one here. This one is really cool as well. This one is 16mm. It goes to 1.2 as well. I'm not gonna put this one on frame because it's quite similar than what you're seeing right now. The one that you're seeing right now is 9mm, so it goes way wider than this. But this one is really cool for vlogging as well. So you kind of have to extend your arm a little bit to place the camera, maybe the lens about this size, but it gives you a really nice image because it goes to 1.2. With these two lenses, because they're going to 1.2 on the aperture, sometimes when it's super bright outside, you might need, no, you might not, you have to use an in-depth filter. So that's something then you want to take into consideration if you get a lens that gets all the way down to 1.2 or so. So let's place this one, and I'll do something with this one just just for you guys to see how it looks with this. I'm gonna try to give you a look on how far away is this lens from me. So let me record so you can see. So this lens is this far away from me. So if you can see, all right, so you have no idea where the camera is. It's so far away. I don't know if you can see it. It's all the way back there. So this is how far away I have to place my camera. But now, see, someone is passing in front, perfect example. So what I'm gonna do now is try to do the same 4 exercise, and you're gonna see how cool it looks because the feel is just different. I love this lens, but it's so uncomfortable to use at the gym. So same 4 exercise. Hopefully you have a good idea of how it looks with the 75mm. So super cool, but not convenient at all. Now I have to walk all the way back to stop it. Oh boy, eeks. For quality purposes, I'm just gonna keep this lens because I don't know if you can see the difference, but like this is a big difference between 75 and 9. I'm gonna finish my session, but what I'm gonna say here is that if you're looking for a lens and it's convenient for you to create content at the gym, for your YouTube channel or for your Instagram or TikTok, I would say something that goes between 11 to 50 will be the max. Then I will go, so you don't have to place the camera so far away like I did to try the 75. Although for me it's the most cinematic look with the 75, but it's not convenient at all. You know, if you have a gym that have like the space and allow you to use those type of focal lengths 50 and 75 with no problem, and you feel comfortable doing it, by any means go ahead and do it. But for me, I think like for talking head videos, to show my workouts, to create like short form content, even the long form content, maybe I like something between, like I said before, like the 9, the 24, the 35, but nothing above that unless it's, you know, the shot is like, you know, like asking for a 75 or something like that. Other than that, let's finish this and that's it.